I bet you thought building software was tough. Well, guess what? You're right. Big software. But there's an easy way. There's a much easier way. And I'm happy to show you. I would love to show you. Can I please show you? I really love it. I think it's really cool. And I just want to share it with the world. So what we're going to do today in this video is we're going to dip our toe in the water of vibe coding. Now, super simple. You don't have to know anything about coding. You don't have to know anything about software. You don't have to know anything about hardly anything. How to turn your computer on and open up a browser. And that's all you get. That's all you need. And we'll get there. So stick with me. We're going to build a really simple app. And at the end of it, in just a few minutes, you're going to have your very own application that you built to look however you want to have it look. And it's yours. And you can use it. And that's cool. I think really cool to have your own software. So let's get into it. So as you can tell, I get really excited about this stuff because I think that having everybody out there with the power to build their own tools for their job, for your home, or whatever you want is really cool. So I'm on a mission to teach people how to use these tools in order to build other tools. I got to work on that. I got to work on my tagline or however I'm going to say that. Anyways, let's jump into it. There's a lot of different tools that you can use for this. There's a lot of different AIs that are out there. You could use ChatGPT. You could use Claude if that's your thing, or any of them. Today I'm going to use Gemini because it's free. Most everybody, like tons of people already have a Google account. So if you already have one, then this is free and you can just open it up right now and follow along. No installation necessary, no any of that. If you already have a Google account, go to gemini.google.com, open it up. You'll land at a screen that looks something like this, and you're ready to get started. What are we going to build? We're going to build a very simple timer app. I want to build a timer app for my own purposes because I'm getting ready to record a bunch of videos to show other people how to build. And something that drives me nuts is when you find a recipe online and it says like, oh, this is an easy meal you can do in 30 minutes. And then you find yourself at like 45 minutes and you're not even done with prep yet. And your kids are yanking at you like, dude, I'm hungry. And you're like, I know, it said 30 minutes and I'm sorry. All right, we're not getting into that here, okay? My channel is all going to be all about stuff that you can actually build. I'm not going to tell you you can build a full SaaS that you can sell for $100 million in 20 minutes. You can't. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't. I don't know anybody who has. But what I can promise you is that you're going to be able to build really cool little tools for yourself really quickly. So I want to build a timer that I can put on the screen that you can always see. And that way you know exactly how long it's taken me. I'm not going to cut through and be like, look at that, I did it in 10 minutes. And actually I spent 8 hours building it. That's not how this is going to work. You're going to see me. It's going to be a little bit awkward because AIs do weird things sometimes. And I'm going to get frustrated. I'm not going to know what's going on sometimes, but you're always going to be with me. And we're always going to be together. And we're going to get through it. And if you watch how I get out of the stuff, then you'll know how to get out of those issues when you come across them. So that's the idea. Let's get into it. Enough yapping. Let's actually build something cool that you can have. All right, so we're here at the Gemini interface. Again, it just looks like a chatbot. First thing we're going to do, before I forget, I do this all the time. I forget to turn on Canvas. So Canvas is the tool that essentially tells the AI, hey, rather than just chatting with me and having a chat goes back and forth, let's have a document that we can work on together. So we're going to open up something over to the side and I'm going to tell you what I want to have in that document, and then you can make edits to the document and I can make edits to the document. You can do this to make, let's say you're writing an essay or you're writing a flyer or I don't know, a recipe. You can put it in there and then you can chat to the AI and you guys can both make edits, and that's kind of neat. In this case, we're going to have it build a code document for us. So we're going to have it code a little tool for us, and then it's actually going to be able to display it right there, and we're going to see it. So let's do it. First things first, I'm going to ask it. I'm going to describe what I just told you. All right, so I asked it, I said, please create a simple timer app that I can display on my screen while I'm recording screencasts. I want to be able to adjust the font size and color easily. All right, so, and just like that, I mean, seconds, right? It got to work coding and says, okay, here's a simple timer app that you can customize, which is perfect for screencasts. Wow, okay, clean looking interface. Let's go ahead and hit start. And there's no time being displayed. Cool buttons. They're nice and nice little color scheme and everything. But, oh, and there's even a settings page. That's nice. But I don't actually see any letters. So let's tell it. Don't see any time being displayed. I don't see any time being displayed. You're right, the timer wasn't displaying the initial time. I've updated the code to fix this. So it's working on the code. You can kind of see how the progress bars are loading, so that way you know it's actually typing. And it's going to re-render. Still nothing. Let's hit play. And still nothing there. All right, let's tell it. Even after. All right, so I said, I still don't see any time displayed, even after I press the start button. One of the AI's favorite responses usually is, you're absolutely correct. It doesn't always know whether or not you're correct. It's just trying to be very polite, but it oftentimes then goes on to fix the issue. So let's try again here. And it's going. Let's hit play. Still nothing. A big fat nothing. All right, let's try again. I wonder if maybe I can give it some potential ideas. My guess is that it's displaying the time. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can use our settings to fix it. Settings, so text color, white, and now see the background color isn't actually working. So let's change our background color. Ah, there it is. So it was displaying white text on a white background, which is why we couldn't see it, even though it was actually there. Good. This is good highlighting because it's something to realize is that the AI over here cannot actually see the program. All it can see is the code. So it's just looking at the instructions for the browser to display what we see, but it can't actually see what the browser renders or what it's displaying. So sometimes that's our role in this, is to just provide that feedback to the AI and let it know, hey, by the way, here's what's happening. Now, that might seem silly because this is some all-knowing coding deity that is capable of all things, but in fact, there's these limitations. You can kind of think of it, you can oftentimes think of it as like a super smart coder who's blindfolded in the corner of the room. They can't see anything, they can hear whatever you say to them, but they can't actually see what's happening. So they're just trying to recall from memory how to tell you how to do what you need to do. And it can type and everything. Now, again, it may seem silly, and I think a lot of people get lost in the sauce right here. They think, oh, well, that just doesn't work then, and I'm giving up. Now, if you stick with it just a little bit, and you kind of keep pushing and iterating, now all we're doing is just asking it to, hey, fix that, try that again, give it another shot. And it can generate these really incredible things. You've just got to work with them a little bit and kind of understand their quirks. This is much, much, much easier than learning how to code from scratch. This right here, what we're looking at, if we look at the code is approximately 324 lines, right? If you don't know how to code right now, to learn everything that is in these 324 lines, I'm gonna ballpark would take you at least months, if not years, to be able to whip something like this up real quick. So you have two paths, and I think that this gets, I don't think that this really gets portrayed in this way enough. is that people try vibe coding, they try and using the AI to code a little bit, and then when it doesn't get it right in one or two tries, they're like, well, this is useless, right? You gotta stick with it just a little bit longer and learn a couple of things about how to talk to it, how to prompt it, how to play with it a little bit, and you can generate these things. The alternative is months, if not years, of learning how to code. So in my mind, it's not even a choice. Like it's pretty simple. So there we go. And end of that rant. And so yeah, so now we go. That now it works. Maybe now that we understand a little bit more about what's going on, we can let it know. Let's say it looks like. So I just let it know. It looks like the app starts with white text on a white background, which is why we couldn't see the displayed time. And it says you're absolutely right. Once again, always trying to fluff us up a little bit. The default settings make the initial display invisible. Let's fix that by setting a default background color. I've updated the code to set the default background color to black. This will ensure that the white text is visible when the timer app loads. Beautiful. All right, so now, why is it displaying 12 a.m.? That's not right. We don't want it to start at 12 a.m. All right, I said I want the time to start at 00000, not 12 a.m. And it says, okay, I've updated the code so the timer starts at 000. Let's give it a second. You can see the thinking wheel is still going. Let's see what we get. Oh, still displaying at 12 a.m. Okay, let's try again here, and let's just let it know. All right, it said nope, it's still displaying 12 a.m. instead of the zeros. And of course, you're absolutely correct. I apologize for the persistent issue. It seems I'm having trouble getting the initial time to display as zeros. All right, let's try it. And no, we still get the same thing. Shoot. All right, let's go a different direction. So sometimes what I find is that if you just tweak it a little bit, let's try and go a slightly different direction and we'll see what we get. Instead, let's. All right, I said still displaying the wrong format. Instead, let's have it start at 0.0, right? So rather than displaying as, hours, minutes, seconds, then let's see if it can start by just displaying 0.0 and then count seconds as it goes. Man, this is one persistent issue. This is one pain in the stack. Goodness. No. Let's see if we switch this over. Got it. So, once again, we were able to play around with the settings a little bit in order to get it to display how we wanted it to. Now, this is maybe a little bit of a learning lesson for me where, I might be able to, rather than trying to go back and then recode, it sounds like, it seems like the AI may have already taken all of these things into consideration and gave us the option in our settings menu in order to be able to just change how it was displayed. Yeah, so anyways, when I hit the use 24-hour format, save, and look at that, it displays just like we want it to. Let's make sure all of our other functions work. We're going to hit pause. That seems to be working just fine. Reset. Wonder what this one does. Doesn't seem to do anything right now. And all right, and those are our settings that we're already familiar with. Let's try and change our text color just to make it nice and bold. Yeah, look at that. You can change it to whatever you want. Let's try and change our font size, make it a little bit bigger. I can't tell if that changed anything. So let's go down here. Oh yeah, that's definitely changing. That's definitely working. Make it bigger, and then let's actually make it heavier. Make it bold. There we go. Nice and bold, easy to see, nice and bright. Okay. So now that we have our actual app, I want to have this on my computer. I don't want to have to open up, create a new window and rebuild this tool every time I want to use it. I want to be able to have it somewhere easily accessible, right? Well, at least within Gemini, there's an easy way to share. Now, you could either use this to share and then save it on your computer, or you could share it and share it with friends, send it to your friends. And it's just this button right up here. And I don't know why it's grayed out for me right now. Well, usually you can just use this share button and it creates a link to it, and you can use it that way. Now the other one is, what if I don't want to have an internet connection? I don't want to have to be able to get on the internet in order to use this. I want to be able to use it on my computer whenever I want, wherever I am. So in that case, I could just go over here. Now, if you leave Canvas on, whatever it responds to you, it is going to change the canvas. So you got to be careful to toggle the canvas on and off depending on what you're trying to do. So in this case, I'm going to turn canvas off. It's not going to erase the canvas. I'm essentially just telling the AI, respond to me in the chat. Don't necessarily respond to me or don't change the canvas. I want to leave the canvas just like it is. So I said, how can I download this app so that it will run on my computer without an internet connection? All right, I'm going to read through it here to make it run on a computer without an internet connection. Package it using a tool that bundles web applications into an executable. It's going to use Electron. This is the kind of thing where, again, you don't necessarily have to know all the details here. It's useful to read through these items to get a better understanding of what it's doing. It's very nice that, again, you don't need to know every last implementation detail of something like Electron, which runs on JavaScript and uses Node.js and all of that. So we're just going to scroll through here. You can export and test generated code in Replit. So we actually don't want to go outside of this. We're going to turn Canvas back on, and we're going to let it know, please go ahead and so now what I've done, after I read through what it wanted to do, because I had Canvas turned off, it didn't actually make any edits to the code. So now I turn Canvas back on, so that way it knows that it can go ahead and do what it explained to me to do. I thought it was going to explain to me how to download it, how to just go in and copy it and put it in a text file and save it on my computer. But it's actually proposing a different route for doing that actually requires it to change the code. So I turned Canvas back on and I said, go ahead and do that. So let's see here. All right, so next steps to package with Electron, install Node.js. We're not doing that. Okay. Oh, man. All right, well, I don't know what to do from here. Okay, it's telling me to install Node.js and NPM, which is outside of the scope of what we're trying to do. So once again, don't be afraid to just go right back to it and say, I don't want to have to install anything. All right, I essentially said, I don't want to have to install anything like Node or NPM, any of that stuff. How can we make this simpler? And it's going to try again. It's going to avoid all of that more complicated stuff. Couple of options, browser-based, simplest but not truly standalone. Yeah, there we go. A simple HTML file that includes CSS and JavaScript. All right, and it looks like it has gone ahead and redone it for us. Wonderful. So let's test it out. Let's start. I'm going to close out the console there. Okay, I'm going to pause. Does it reset? Yep. Doesn't display like we wanted to, but again, we learned our lesson last time. We're gonna go back into settings and save. Great, back to zeros, start, pause, reset, wonderful. All right, and does it have an explanation in here? No, it just explained it. Okay, so create a new text file on your computer and save it with a .html extension. For example, timer.html. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy the code. So come here, copy it, and now we're going to create a new text file. We just want to make an HTML file. There's different ways to do this depending on if you're on Windows or Mac. And again, I reiterate to you one more time, whenever you're confused or you're like, what about me? Resist the temptation to open up Google and just start searching. Ask the AI right here. Just go ahead, put it in there. How do I do this? And it'll give you a step-by-step. Just remember that if you don't want it to overwrite your canvas, then hit the canvas, turn the canvas button off, or turn it on if you want it to edit. So just remember to do that. In our case, I know what I need to do. I need to open up TextEdit, which is the default text editor on Mac. And I'm going to say I want I'm going to do show options. I'm going to ignore rich text commands to make sure that it doesn't try and format it in a different way. I'm going to paste in my text. I'm going to call it my timer.html. There we go. And I want to, save. And I'm going to put it on the desktop. And again, I'm going to delete that txt part. Looks like it's not going to let me. That's okay. So now that it's there, quit, go to my Finder, and go to my desktop. And there it is. Now I'm going to rename this file. Right-click on it, rename it, so that it is just timer.html without the txt. And there we go, use HTML. And now the next time that I open this up, double click on it, boom, it loads up right in the browser. It doesn't need an internet connection. It's that simple. So we'll just hit test it, start, sure enough, it works. Settings, use our 24-hour format. There we go, back to the way we want it. Pause, reset. Boom, just like that, we have built our very own application that runs on our computer from scratch. Got to understand that if you were to learn code, if you were to take a traditional path to learning code, this is a project that you would probably execute after a year of studying. And we just did it in 27 minutes, more or less, in somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. So just a good reminder of the power of vibe coding here and how much further you can make it. Now, I encourage you to stick around. We'll be doing a lot more videos just like this, and I will see you in the next one.